Hey guys, welcome to another competitive EDH game. I have taken up the Storm deck, Dralnu, that I've brewed. It is a Doomtide deck, so one of its win cons is Doomsday. A lot of Commander players are familiar with this card. It basically makes your library 5 cards, and you essentially try to draw through with Labman and then draw past how many cards are in your deck. The other major win con is usually some way of using ad nauseum into storm count, either through Mind's Desire or Aetherflux Reservoir, in order to cast enough spells to eventually kill our opponents, depending on what we get or whatever. So the benefits of Dralnu over other blue-black commanders, not going into other colors, is that he gives your spells flashback, which gives you added resiliency throughout the game. So with that said, let's jump into the match. Alright, so the Gitrog monster, that's scary. Varolz, also scary, and Tymna and Thrasios. Okay, at least there's another blue player at the table. This hand has a lot of lands and a brawl, which I'm gonna go ahead and mull this. Alright, so Necro with no means of casting it. Except Dark Petition, so like if we get double black, I guess we could try this. Seems kind of bad though. I'm gonna mull it. Wow. What is up with this today? 28 lands. I've flood every single hand so far. Sure. I mean, I can go to the bottom. This isn't nearly as interactive a hand as I want it to be, nor is it as aggressive as a hand as I want it to be. Like, it's one or two ways, you need to either have interaction or be fast, and it's neither of those things, so we'll see. I'm not particularly excited about it now. Seems good. Rapid hybridization is a decent piece of interaction. That'll at least get us somewhere. Deathrite is also pretty decent against Gitrog, although I think that he can just sacrifice more lands or something, or discard more lands or whatever, so it's not that good, but it works a little bit. It's at least something to potentially slow down the Gitrog monster. I'm going to fetch a Watery Grave since I have no need to play the land untapped. Yeah, I'm not particularly excited about the Chromox. I didn't really want to play it here. There's nothing in my hand that's like worth exiling, particularly since the spells in my hand are very few, and they're the interaction that I have to deal with stuff at this point in the game. So. So we just let the I let the Vampiric Tutor resolve because usually it's the thing that they're playing that you want to counter, not the spell itself. So all right, burgeoning. So right now the deck is acting like a control deck, and that is one of the benefits of having Dralnu, in my opinion, over something like Una, who's kind of the other blue-black storm deck that exists. But yeah, I think that that gives this deck a little bit of advantage over Una because it has the capacity to play an interactive, slower game plan, whereas I feel that Una is a little bit worse at that. Alright, 2 damage is not on me. I'm okay with this. I will pass priority. So in response to the activation of the fetch, I'm going to rapid hybridization the Gitrog monster. This prevents him from playing extra lands and drawing more cards. Yes, we blow up the Gitrog monster there just to slow him down a little bit, really. And we will hope that other people can interact with him as the game goes along. Mind's Desire is a decent card to have in hand. It means that when we add Oz, we won't hit it. So that's nice. But, you know, we're kind of in this place where we got to play really slow. I mean, I guess he could have played the Chromox there and then just gone for Dralnu. Alright, so exiling Vampiric Tutor. Yeah, Deathrite is kind of annoying to our game plan as well, so we'll have to kind of keep out, look out for it. Because we certainly don't want to exiling spells we're trying to flash back. Alright, Thrasios, that's fine. So with this hand, I think that we'd be going for more of a high tide line, at least in my head right now, since we have the Mind's Desire. Alright, Bird is fine. A Toxic Deluge would be amazing here. He currently has 7 mana, so with another land, he can, in fact, recast the Gitrog monster. Just casts Grim Monolith and passes. Alright, so Adnaz into Mind's Desire is our line. Maybe it was right to Chromox there, but we'll see. Yeah, so this top deck Adnaz is going to be really good for us, I imagine. And we have the mana to do really pretty much anything we want with it, assuming we draw enough rocks, you know. Six mana for the Varolz player. And he opts to do nothing with it. This interrupts my plans. So, pretending like I don't have anything, I'm going to get the other player to Swan Song his Adnaz, which means that there's less stuff to deal with my Adnaz. So while I didn't actually have a way of countering the Adnaz, my inability to counter it showed my opponent that he needed to respond, and communicates to him that I don't have any interaction, which will be much better for my Naz turn than him thinking that I do have interaction aside from what he sees off the Adnaz. So maybe he'll counter the Gitrog monster too. That's really my hope. Aw, man. So he's going to use Petrified Field to get back Misty Rainforest. Okay, so he's going to get to draw 2 cards off Gitrog monster. That's pretty good. Alright. Reasonable choice. Casting Adnaz. I don't have protection, but looks like it's going to resolve. Alright, so we got nothing for Mox Diamond, which is pretty rough. We can go... Chrome Mox, exiling Necropotence. Just play the Mox Diamond anyway. Alright, so we can Gitaxian Probe. Alright, so Mind's Desire makes the 8th spell cast this turn. Alright, 5. Let's make 6. 7. 8. Alright. So we will lead off with the Flux Reservoir. As our 9th spell. Then we will go Ponder. Our 10th spell. I'm actually going to draw that Ice-Crown Scepter. Oops. Then we'll cast our Soul Ring as our 11th spell. Alright, so with that, we will go Preordain. We will move both of those to the bottom. I knew what they were. Marsh Flats. Yeah, it's actually a good draw because then when we... So my plan is to... Alright, so a mental misstep. Alright, so Candelabra is going to resolve. We get to untap 1 land. Alright, so all these go back to my hand. We'll lead off with a Chrome Mox. We'll exile Jace. Play a Mox Diamond. I may have messed this up a little bit. It's still okay, but... Oh, this is tapped. Yeah, we should still be okay. We'll just play Ice-Crown Scepter 20. we'll go ahead and exile and we'll just use EDH Reservoir to ping everybody. Alright, seems like that works. I'll go ahead and play Verdant Catacombs. Fetch. And yeah, that's fine. Demonic Tutor is fine. Nature's Claim, and I will cast Flusterstorm. Alright, so he just sacrifices the Polluted Delta to end the game. And so we win there. That was a pretty interesting win. A lot of things going on there. So, alright, so this is a bit of an odd game. You had basically 3 to 4, depending on what version of Thrasios Tymna that was. Pretty fast combo decks, all of which didn't really fire very quickly. So Varolz seemed to stumble on whatever he was trying to get. The Gitrog monster was the one that continually posed a threat and was continually answered by the 2 blue players at the table. And the Thrasios Tymna deck simply didn't have enough resources to counter all the things at the table at once. So that allowed us to basically just slow roll into ad nauseam, which we top decked, and then play out what was relatively a mediocre ad nauseam actually. But anyway, so we played out ad nauseam and did all that stuff, and then Mind's Desire was also fairly mediocre. But this is where it gets weird, because this turn I actually could have done better, and I didn't. Everything else was pretty fine, but this turn, when I Chain of Vapored, I should have bounced the Soul Ring to my hand and sacrificed the other land, and I should have also played the Ancient Tomb out of my graveyard in order to give me enough mana to actually cast everything, Mystical Tutor for the Dramatic Reversal, cast Isochron Scepter, and I think I would have had enough mana to loop that, giving me infinite mana, which would have allowed me to kill off the Thrasios Tymna player in his upkeep, rather than giving him the chance to be back in the game. Granted, his mistake to not fetch during in response to the Aetherflux laser beam did end up costing him the game, because when he fetched on his turn, he had to die. He could not pay for the Flusterstorm. But with that said, the deck did perform fairly well in a very strange environment. Not what I was expecting to happen. We hit a lot of lands off Mind's Desire, which was strange too, considering we'd already drawn a lot of lands. But all in all, the deck performed fairly well in this game, and I look forward to playing again. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.